new attention on a centuries-old tradition. For more than 1,000 years, Christian pilgrims and those seeking self-reflection have embarked on the Camino de Santiago. It's a network of hiking routes throughout France, Portugal, and Spain that all meet in the Spanish city of Santiago de Compostela. This year, Elizabeth Palmer went along for the journey to see how this ancient attraction is adapting in the 21st century.
It's early morning in the Herboin Monastery in northern Spain. Next door in the hostel, Brianna Johnson is getting ready with ankle support and some fond farewells. Today is the final leg of a very personal journey. She's one of the modern pilgrims who, rain or shine, set out to follow an ancient way known simply as the Camino.
Basically every single person I've talked to has been interested in connecting in something greater and getting to know themselves better.
They seek those connections on a route marked with a scallop motif. It winds hundreds of miles across southern Europe, from the Atlantic coast to village roads and along forest paths, all leading to the great cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. It's the final stop for walkers who can scarcely believe they've made it, exhausted and ecstatic. For more than 1,000 years, Christians have trodden the same route on a holy journey to the shrine in Santiago's cathedral, which the faithful believe holds the bones of Jesus' disciple, St. James.
It's born out of Christianity. The Camino de Santiago started with the discovery of the remains of St. James here in Santiago de Compostela, right over in the cathedral.
Stephen Rindle is a former U.S. paratrooper who's walked the Camino almost every year for a decade. It's both an expression of his Christian faith and a calling. Rindle founded Warriors on the Way, pilgrimage as therapy for traumatized American veterans.
Every day begins with the Mass. So you get your healing theme for the day during that morning Mass, and then immediately upon finishing, we start hiking.
Religion, he says, can play a role in recovery or not.
When you're on the Camino and you've got these beautiful lush fields in front of you and the trees and waterways and then big open fields, it's nothing but positive reinforcement.
Hey, I'm Frank, New York.
It was Martin Sheen in the movie The Way back in 2010 that made the Camino famous in the U.S. Last year, a record 40,000 Americans made the journey. And they all came through here, the Pilgrim's Office in Santiago de Compostela. Travelers who complete at least 60 miles of the Camino on foot or 120 by bicycle check in here to get an official stamp. Cesar Rua has been welcoming them for 18 years. And he says the crowds have changed.
So every year there are more and more Americans.
Yeah, sure. It's exponential.
Exponential.
It's exponential, yes, every day.
The traditional inhabitants of Santiago have been forced to adjust. The town's deeply Catholic traditions have had to make way for guest houses, souvenir shops, and trendy restaurants. But still, in high season, Santiago is overwhelmed.
Like, do people worry?
We do, because the state that Santiago is right now, it's not capable of having so much people. You know, there are not enough hotels, there are not enough restaurants, but in a few years' time, it will be.
And a good thing, too, because these are boom times for walkers in search of exercise, spiritual renewal, and a link with history.
Do you feel the weight of the past as you go?
Yes.
So many thousands of people who've trodden these roads over more than 1,000 years.
I do, and I will say as an American, it's particularly fun because we're used to, like, if a building is more than 70 years old, we're like, wow, that's an old building.
For Johnson, who's between jobs, the Camino offered a break from her phone and social media.
I think something where you are forced to disconnect and just have a lot of time to think and connect with something a little bit larger than yourself.
What have you learned about yourself?
I've learned that I really can do hard things, that I push myself really hard. I mean, my average step count has been 40,000 steps a day.
And have you found some peace that you didn't have when you started?
Yes, I think so. I think just like kind of a more of an inner calm.
So why should this ancient path, more than any other hiking trail, bring inner calm? The tradition of hospitality, for a start, with simple accommodation offered cheaply by the church and by local people. But it's also, says Steve, the pilgrim's mindset, seeking, not expecting.
In that you have to have a concept of relying on others. The pilgrim has, as unique from a tourist, for example, the need to go in and find what's available in the hospitality, find what's available in the way of help.
In the drizzle of late afternoon, a weary Brianna Johnson finally arrives at the cathedral. By the time we catch up with her, it's sinking in.
Yeah, this is awesome. Wow, this is surprising.
Those are tears of joy?
Yes, totally. Yeah, definitely not sadness.
She has covered 160 grueling miles in 11 days.
Well done, you. I mean, I was thinking this has to be the biggest feat I've accomplished.
The next feat will be to carry some of that Camino magic back with her into the bustle of modern life. For CBS Saturday Morning, Elizabeth Palmer from Spain.
160 miles with what, 20
That
pounds
backpack.
at least on her back?
But it is the thing she said, I can do hard things in that time later in life where you're like, I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know if I can get back up after getting knocked down. That's what you reflect on. It's beautiful, and what a message it gives you to leave with.
And it's something I think backpackers, they are truly the in-between the tourist and the pilgrim.
Yeah.
In that seeking of something special.
Interesting how the town also has had to adapt to all of the new attention. You might not know this, but in part of the United States, it is already late Saturday night. Ever since 1978, Saipan, part of the Northern Mariana Islands in the Western Pacific Ocean, has been a commonwealth of the U.S. The islands have been inhabited by humans for thousands of years. Adam Yamaguchi shows us how new life is now being breathed into one ancient tradition.
In the far western corner of America, in Saipan on the Northern Mariana Islands, the native population is rediscovering an ancient tradition. The indigenous islanders, the Chamorro, are taking to the water in their distinctive canoes called Saipan.
We're an organization committed to reviving our traditional maritime culture.
June Coleman is the organizer of the group 500 Sails.
We feel that it's important to strengthen our cultural identity. It makes us better caretakers of this special place that we live.
500 Saipan canoes greeted the Spanish as they made contact with the Chamorro in the 1500s. They were the first outrigger canoes Europeans saw in the Pacific, and the Spanish were stunned by their speed, agility, and design. But for the next 100 years, the Spanish and Chamorros were embroiled in a series of bloody battles. The Spanish destroyed and banned canoes, and eventually conquered the islands.
The Chamorro people were here for over 4,000 years.
This is about reviving the culture. What happened?
The Spanish, when they came here, they were pretty ruthless, and they systematically destroyed our cultural treasure, which was the sailing canoes.
By the late 1600s, the Chamorro population was decimated by war and disease, and with it, their culture was nearly wiped out.
And so they weren't in these waters for over 275 years.
Across the Pacific, knowledge of traditional sailing began to fade, including in Hawaii, where ancient sailing practices were nearly lost.
Light as a bird, Hokulea enters her natural element.
But in the 1970s, Hawaiians rediscovered their Polynesian ocean voyaging routes when the Hokulea outrigger canoe was built and sailed 2,600 miles to Tahiti using only traditional navigation techniques. No fuel, no GPS, only the wind and the stars.
500
That set in motion a revival of seafaring traditions throughout the Pacific.
The canoe is a living cultural treasure in the sense that we use them to travel between islands. That's how they first arrived to the islands.
These traditional canoes began the settlement of some of the most remote islands on planet Earth.
So here, hold with your right hand here, because you actually want to be looking at where the wind's coming from.
Every Saturday, Coleman hosts sailing lessons, focusing on traditional Chamorro seafaring practices.
She's helping to steer us, basically.
We joined Coleman and Liana Lynn Muna, who helped navigate our way through the bay.
You got to be real in tune, and she's doing great.
It's taking my entire body.
Coleman says this revival is encouraging participants to become more physically active.
All we need is the wind to help us. That's what I always say, the wind is the gas and the sail is the engine.
Huh. It really puts you in tune with the elements.
While 500 Sails is growing in popularity, it has only reached a fraction of the population of the Northern Mariana Islands. Residents here experience some of the highest rates of obesity and the poorest cardiovascular health in the U.S.
We need to use canoe sailing and our culture to re-establish healthier lifestyle.
So the canoe is helping bring everything back in balance.
Coleman says the Saipan revival is in its infancy, but has hoped young people like Liana Lynn Muna and others will take the lead and eventually recruit enough people to build 500 sailing canoes once again.
Wait, next time!
At the end of our visit to Saipan, we spoke with Mario Benito, who's passing along traditional sailing techniques to his son, Lolo Beong.
I had to step in and try and make that change because from my dad's side, he taught me I should be the one to teach, the future generation about how important our culture is, how it must be kept alive till this time, because who knows, maybe 50 years, 100 years from now, people won't even speak our native tongue, and it's gonna be hard to watch.
The stars are like your best friends. If you know them well, they'll be better than your best friends because they'll never lie to you. Same stars that our ancestors used are the same stars we still have to this day.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Adam Yamaguchi, the Northern Mariana Islands.
What a beautiful assignment there.
I know.
We're all very jealous of. But that message that if you're not passing these traditions on, they will be lost. And I feel like we've been saying that more and more in some of the stories that we're seeing.
And showing or realizing or appreciating the value of these indigenous cultures, not only in terms of like what they do for their bodies, what they do for our world, for the environment is always real special, yeah. Mexico City is home to 22 million residents, one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world with a mix of modern urban life and ancient history. It was built on a large lake system evident in the district of Xochimilco, a network of canals dating back to the Aztecs. Today, the UNESCO World Heritage Site is a tourist attraction that brings the past to life.
In one of the oldest capitals in the Americas, a city built atop ancient ruins, food, art, and culture reign supreme, drawing 45 million tourists each year. But along Mexico City's southern edge, beyond the vibrant Embarcadero, there's a more natural sight to see, the ancient canals of Xochimilco.
Fue muy importante desde el punto de vista agrícola.
As historian Araceli Peralta put it, what should be the main attraction.
El principal atractivo para el turismo nacional.
The best way to see the region's archaeology and cultural traditions, she says, is aboard one of these, the colorfully carved trajinera.
Xochimilco tiene una gran riqueza cultural.
This entire valley, she says, is a marvel of Xochimilcan engineering. The people that settled here more than a millennia ago dug these canals, creating raised gardens known as chinapas. Some are still in use today.
This is like a window to our pre-Hispanic past.
Hola!
We think of the chinamperos, the farmers, as the guardians of the place, no?
Like those at the Arca Tierra, an agricultural collective founded and run by Lucio Usubiaga.
We have a lot of medicinal herbs, no, and a lot of vegetables.
And they would plant side by side?
Yes, it's The contrary to industrial agriculture, the monocultures, our main goal is to highlight peasant agriculture in terms of the cultural heritage they have here in Xochimilco.
So I'm a little lost in translation. So peasant in American English has a very negative connotation. It must not have the same connotation here.
I say it on purpose because peasant, in our opinion, in Arca, is the most valuable profession right now because they take care of our environment and they produce good food.
What were you doing before?
I was studying philosophy. Yeah.
During the time of the Aztecs, these farms fed tens of thousands. But within the last century, the system fell victim to urban sprawl.
Lechuga.
Farmers like Veronica Martinez Guevara are investing in its comeback.
Here you have cauliflower next to lettuces, next to beets.
For the last 15 years, Arca Tierra has trained 70 farmers to carry on the Chinampa tradition. Martinez Guevara's grandfather had owned a Chinampa, but couldn't afford to maintain the land.
Do you feel as though you're reclaiming a part of your heritage?
I feel very joyful that I get to do what my ancestors, my grandparents did, she says, and I'm happy to be back.
The Chinampas would recover like that if only a very small percentage of Mexico City would say, I want the produce from there. The farmers would have jobs, would be very well paid, and we would no longer have the urban sprawl growing on top of the Chinampas.
I'm looking for beets that are ready for harvest. You have to have the perfect eye. Clearly, Lena knows how to pick a beet.
Already, 40 restaurants in Mexico City source produce from here.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. So I dig this.
Critical demand to feed a wider farm-to-table movement.
She uses her fingers. I need this. 17,000 plants you plant every month. Sister girl, gotta give it to you guys. I'm serious.
Beyond the Chinampas and further downstream.
Hola, bienvenidos al ajolotario.
Locals like Victor de Valle, a sixth-generation fisherman here, hope to save something even more ancient, the ajolote, named for the Aztec god of fire and lightning.
Oh, wow, look at him.
Oh. His refuge houses 50 of the critically endangered species. Toys made in their likeness are currently the object of desire for both kids and adults alike.
Do you know how popular the ajolote are in the United States?
Mm-hmm. Native solely to this area, it's estimated that only a few hundred remain in the wild, prey to pollution and invasive species.
What does it mean to you to be able to preserve something that's so unique to this area, the area of your ancestors?
Bueno, pues yo en especial, precisamente por eso fue la...
Keeping the alien-like amphibian alive, he says, is a responsibility to generations coming behind him. A responsibility also felt by organizations like Arca Tierra, seeking to find balance between what once sustained this landscape and our modern needs.
Are you having an impact?
A small one, yes. With 300 families that receive our boxes, 40 restaurants, and all the farmers' network of 50 families, and all the jobs that they create. So it's a small impact, but what we're happy to say is that it is possible.
It was so hard to believe that that district was literally right outside of the city. I mean, literally, you are at the Embarcadero and then boom, you're in the middle of this canal system. And this farm-to-table movement is really hoping to latch on with many co-ops like Arca Tierra. But it's moving ahead like we're seeing here in the United States.
And it's helping each step of the way. It seems like it's helping somebody else.
Yeah,
and that's a beautiful thing.
People reclaiming their sense of pride in tradition.
Yeah, fantastic.
It was once a Hollywood hangout, then nearly disappeared into the desert. But one town in Southern California is making a comeback thanks to a chance discovery, a shared dream, and healing waters. Jacumba Hot Springs is finding new life. Adam Yamaguchi takes us there.
In a little-known corner of California, travelers seeking escape are rediscovering an old hideaway. About 75 miles east of San Diego on historic Route 80, just feet from the southern border, is the tiny town of Jacumba Hot Springs.
This town was built in the 20s during kind of the heyday of film in Hollywood. It was a getaway for the movie stars that were in Los Angeles.
By the middle of the last century, the railroad had closed and the new interstate bypassed the town. Jacumba Hot Springs' purpose had all but vanished.
We really focus on handcrafted materials.
But in 2020, investor Jeff Osborne was looking for a real estate adventure when he got the call from his friend Melissa Strukel.
My business partner, Melissa, called me and said, I think I found something. And she had actually crawled over the walls here when it was closed during COVID and discovered this entire town.
So what was here?
What was here was a motel. It was kind of like it is now. It did not look like it does look now, but it was open.
Today, they've completely overhauled the 20-room hotel for a new generation of wellness seekers looking to unplug and soak.
The water here is very special. People have been coming here just for the water, at least 100 years.
What makes the waters here so special?
Our water's uniquely alkaline. It also has sulfur, and that's actually one of the most proven beneficial minerals to soak in for pain and inflammation. The feel of the water is one of our most unique qualities, and I think if you get to soak in the water, you'll notice it.
The renovation even earned it a coveted spot on Travel + Leisure magazine's 100 Best New Hotels of 2025 list. With their design and investment backgrounds, they had the tools to remake the hotel into something magical. Osborne and his partners didn't stop here. Outside the walls of the hotel, they'd realized they bought what felt like half the town.
Well, we weren't actually sure when we made the offer, but we knew it was most of the commercial buildings, and then there's a lake that at the time had kind of been left for almost a dump. It was just kind of mud with mattresses and tires and things like that. We brought in some experts. We even brought in Native American elders, and we got guidance on how to restore this lake the right way.
Redeveloping a lake, that's a new one.
Yeah.
So not only have you brought economic revitalization, you're also restoring the environment, the ecology here.
Yeah, this project has been probably one of the most rewarding in that way. It's brought back incredible amounts of wildlife. This has actually become an oasis in the desert.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a huge addition to the town, and not just for the plants, even the kids.
Nothing is far in Jacumba. A few minutes away from the thriving lake, the next project awaits.
All of these buildings here came with the original ownership of the town. We're looking for artisans and people to come move to Jacumba, and we're looking for people that make what they sell and that want to be a part of the community. The hotel and the hot springs themselves are the heartbeat. Now that we're rolling, we will move into this project, which is kind of what we call downtown.
I spotted a lot of characters in town.
Yeah, that's Coyote. He's our local UFO repairman. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I would imagine a place like this, historically it's been a place for people to kind of get away from civilization. You probably have a lot of those interesting people here.
I think the people here are just as interesting as the town.
And so what's this here?
This is the old bathhouse. So this is a ruin. This was burned down in the late 70s. And originally this was a kind of a building of healing.
Organized by Osborne and his partners, community events bring new life and connections, like weekly art shows, concerts, and markets next to the old bathhouse.
This one, it has frankincense.
Longtime residents welcome the revitalization that the project has helped spark, including an increase from 15 employees to 65.
It's an awesome time for the community. There hasn't been a lot of jobs in the past up here. And with the revamp and the renovations that they've done at the hotel, there's been a lot of jobs created. I'm very pleased to see that there's more opportunity for our youth.
Jacumba is such a unique place.
Paula Wisenat, the town's last postmaster, has lived here since 1975. She's seen attempts at revival before.
The hotel has gone through probably the best significant transformation. They've been very respectful and kind to preserving history and anything of the town.
I was about to leave and go sell it everything, live in Poland, but now I'm permanent resident. We're building home now.
Longtime resident Roman Raj runs a glider club in Jacumba and offers the growing number of visitors to the town a different kind of escape.
Go, 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 go.
No engines, just the wind.
Oh my God.
But back on the ground,
oh my God,
it was time to unwind and unplug.
When you sit in a mineral spring and soak, there's no cell phones. So this is people connecting and looking at each other in the eyes and being humans.
For most guests, the draw remains the same as it was nearly a century ago. These healing waters and a chance to slow down.
Most of the people that have been here a very long time tell us about the old days, these fond memories that they didn't get anymore because the town had kind of lost its way. And so most of the people now are just like, finally, we think it could come back. We think there's a chance now.
For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Adam Yamaguchi in Jacumba Hot Springs, California.
Yeah, we see you, Adam Yamaguchi.
He looks like he had a very good time. But no, in all seriousness, it is a beautiful, beautiful place. And yes. I really appreciate that they are trying to preserve the history and the heritage, even as they do all these renovations.
And nature. I mean, how do you bring back a lake in a desert? I'd love to know the mechanics of that one.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, there are only two ways to get on the island.
This time of year, yes, by boat or by airplane.
Getting to Mackinac Island through the straits of Lakes Michigan and Huron isn't always smooth sailing. We learned the hard way. Okay. With the island's State Historic Parks Director, Steve Brisson. So was this home to the indigenous people?
A major summer fishing grounds for the indigenous people.
And where does the name come from?
Mackinac means turtle. Really? And because the island resembles a turtle. It looks like a big humpback turtle rising out of the water. And the full name for the island is Michilimackinac.
Michilimackinac.
And the prefix Michi means great turtle.
Europeans settled here in the 1600s, picking up the fur trade.
John Jacob Astor established the northern headquarters of his American Fur Company here on Mackinac Island.
As the fur industry died out in the 1830s, tourists started pouring in, thanks in part to an enterprising livery driver.
My first great-great-grandfather was E.A. Franks. He had the first hotel on the island in 1849.
Brad Chambers' family built a tourism empire off the horse and buggy.
He would transport people back and forth to the hotel from the ferry docks. And then in 1872, he received the first City of Mackinac license.
Around that time, about half the island became the country's second national park, protecting it from overdevelopment. By then, the town had welcomed the Grand Hotel, dubbed America's Summer Place, a national landmark boasting the world's longest porch, and by 1895 sat alongside Michigan's first state park. But one thing the island didn't welcome...
So there are no cars on this island?
No.
None?
Well, there are some. There are emergency vehicles. Okay. There are fire trucks. There are utility trucks, yes.
But this is the land of horses.
It is. Horse is still king on Mackinac.
When did they decide no cars?
1898. Somebody had brought a car to Mackinac Island that year. It freaked out the horses. And so the carriage tour drivers said,
In fact, it was another one of Brad Chambers' ancestors, Thomas Chambers, who pushed for the game-changing move.
Thomas came from Ireland in 1834, set up shop as a grocer, and eventually got into the livery business. He was really good about gathering the other livery operators together to ban the automobile. They petitioned the City of Mackinac Island.
So your people were responsible for no cars on the island?
Yeah, it was my great-great-grandfather.
A few challenges to the ban cropped up early on, but were trampled, and then, boom.
There was no control of the traffic. Everybody positioned in line to get the fares coming off the ferry boats. Really no consistency in harness quality, in carriage quality. And so the State Park Commission brought all the guys together and said, hey, listen, you guys got to get it figured out. And so in 1924, they formed the Carriagemen's Association.
Good morning, guys.
It's been a bustling industry ever since. Everything from tourists to Amazon packages are transported by horse-drawn carriage or bikes.
This rush hour or no?
No, it is not. It gets much busier.
Recently, they've had to address modern inventions like e-bikes, which move a bit too fast for this slower pace of life and require special licenses.
Are people adhering to that?
Not completely.
During high season from May to October, more than 1 million visitors make the trek to enjoy the quaint old town, its sweet fudge shops, and, of course, catch a buggy ride.
There aren't traffic lights, there aren't gas stations, there aren't parking lots. So what they did back then preserved a slice of America where you really do get a feel for what life was like before the automobile took over.
Preserving the charm has been no small feat.
This is one of the best carriage collections in the country.
But preserving the carriages is a true labor of love for the Chambers family.
All of these carriages are unique to Mackinac Island, and we would take them and restore them and keep them on the island. It was important to my family to keep them part of the history of Mackinac.
Can you still ride in them?
Every single one, absolutely.
With the horse?
With the horse. We can put them on the road today.
Oh, buddy. That'd good work.
And as for those horses,
there are a group of veterinarians that do this work. When I'm working, I can't leave the island. It's 24/7.
Senior vet Shaker Heights has been on the job now for half a century.
What is your average day like?
I usually am up here about 7:30 in the morning, and depending on exactly what's going on, somewhere between 9:30, 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm done for the day.
Roughly 600 horses are ferried on and off the island before and after the busy season. That's more than the number of year-round residents. In a place where vets outnumber doctors, Heights and his team are equipped to handle anything from routine primary care to small aches and pains, as he showed us with Rudy.
The first thing we do is clean it out. Then we're going to see, is he sore someplace?
Okay.
And these are called hoof testers. And Rudy's doing what he should do.
Nothing.
Nothing. That's exactly right. Right now I'm feeling like Rudy's foot is normal.
How often do you do this a day?
Pretty much constantly.
I would imagine.
Ben Mosley manages the Grand Hotel Stables, where he's been tending to horses for over 20 years.
What does it take to do this job well?
A lack of sense of smell.
Right. Is it hard to staff this stable?
I'll start recruiting before we open for the following season.
Where do you find them?
Everywhere.
Many, like Mosley, consider the job both a resume builder and rite of passage.
They work together 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week sometimes. They live in the same area. They just become a close-knit group and they learn from each other.
Ensuring that this great turtle's legacy endures and evolves at its own pace.
You hear the clip-clop and you smell the fudge. Smell the horses. It's a big part of Mackinac. It really is.
Could you ever see a day when they aren't here?
I hope not. I've got a lot of ghosts looking over my shoulder. We've been part of it for 5 generations. And so it's a big part of us. And we feel a real responsibility to make sure it continues.
Just think about it.
It's amazing.
There are no cars.
It's like the place is frozen in time.
It really is, somewhere in time.
And what you mentioned about pace,
It's a
I think.
movie.
Oh, okay. That was before my time. But I think what you said about life being a better experience outside a car, people are slowing down.
They really do. You can exhale, you can take a breath.
And Michelle Miller shoveling manure, ladies and gentlemen, going the full mile to bring you the story. That was beautiful.
That's right. I do enjoy
what?
Cleaning up after.
Do you?
I do.
I doubt it. I doubt it. No, that was wonderful. Good stuff there.
One of our favorite trips of the year to the undisputed heavyweight champion of national parks. No other park comes close to how big Wrangell-St. Elias is. If you're unfamiliar with it, that's likely because it's not exactly easy to reach. Sitting on the edge of Alaska, an 8-hour drive from Anchorage. 13.2 million pristine acres with an active volcano, 9 of the 16 highest peaks in America, and countless glaciers. Wrangell-St. Elias also contains the last community inside a national park. About 100 full-time residents who are convinced the best way to live is far away from everyone else. It may not be as famous as other attractions, but Wrangell-St. Elias National Park is larger than Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Switzerland combined.
There's no other way to get an idea for the scale, the scope of this place than being up here. Yeah, this park, as massive as it is, would be completely underappreciated without aviation.
Austin Roble of Wrangell Mountain Air gave us the big picture from above.
If you guys look in the ice, sometimes you can see layers that function basically the same as tree rings. And you can count those like tree rings and see how many years worth of ice you're looking at.
For millions of years, Wrangell-St. Elias has been shaped by the competing forces of volcanism and glaciation.
I mean, how many places can you go and see both volcanic and glacial activity
I know.
at the same time? Fire and ice.
Yeah.
100 years ago, the section of the park we flew over was mined heavily, but no more. The Alaska Lands Conservation Act of 1980 protected 157 million acres in our 49 states, including Wrangell-St. Elias. Right in the middle of that, a throwback to the days of the Kennecott mining operation is still thriving. We're in the park.
Yeah, we're in the geographic center of the park. I mean, it's as central as you can be in the park.
McCarthy is a one-of-a-kind private town, accessible only by plane, a privately owned bridge, or a footpath. This was once Sin City.
Yeah, like the quintessential Sin City. I mean, it was moonshining, gambling, prostitution.
Today, it's a little different. Neil Darish is the town's largest landowner, one of the business people serving a small year-round population of locals and a growing number of seasonal tourists.
When people go out into the wilderness and then they come here and they're able to relax, or they're able to have a cold beer or whatever, that's part of the human condition today. They want to experience the unpredictable. They want to be surprised by an animal. They don't want to get eaten by a bear. So finding the way to help people enjoy their adventure, that's really our role.
In this area, adventure is not hard to come by. It's wild walking through here.
It's quite a spot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, time forgotten. Mike Loso, a geologist with the National Park Service, showed us the restored buildings that once served as the heart of mining town.
You know what they ought to have here is a chase scene.
Not to mention the site of this elaborate video from John Denver's 1978 film, Alaska, The American Child.
You're a John Denver fan. Not many people admit that they are.
I love John Denver.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice. Good. Makes me like you. I'm a John Denver fan, too.
Huge John Denver fan. Wrangell-St. Elias is one of the only places in the world you can, with reasonable effort, actually walk on a glacier.
We go out this trail a lot.
We're going to see bears?
Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me.
The 5-mile hike takes you through some of the most majestic beauty this land has to offer, along with interesting encounters on the way. It's a bear staring at us.
I mean, he could come down and attack us right now, but I would say he's probably not going to.
No, he's running away.
Yeah, that's what we like him to do. We like to look at him and then watch him leave. Well, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That's a little black bear.
Yeah.
Or medium-sized.
That was not little.
Yeah, no, he wasn't little.
It's good that you brought the bear spray.
Right.
He didn't bring the bear spray. FYI. The glacier we traveled to tells a familiar story.
When I first came to this valley for the very first time in 1990, coming down this trail, you'd get on the ice just below where we're standing right here. And as you can see, the ice edge is quite a distance away. We're going to walk it here in a moment, and you'll feel how far it is. But that's a measure in, part of a human lifetime of how far this glacier is retreated.
The irregular shape of the surface is a product of different areas melting at different rates based on sun exposure. Rock debris covers some parts more than others.
The basic idea, and this is a good place to point it out, is a very thin layer of dirt absorbs more sunlight and melts faster. But a thick layer of dirt like this, just a couple centimeters thick, is enough to insulate the ice from the sun, and so it melts slower.
While cycles of glaciers growing and receding over hundreds of years are normal, the rate of melting over the last half-century is impossible to ignore. How many feet down has it gone?
At this particular location, about 200 feet, give or take. And when you go down to the terminus of the glacier, just a little ways downstream of us, there's a huge lake there now. We call that a proglacial lake, and that lake didn't even exist when I first came here. It doesn't even have a name, it's so new. And this summer, my son and I are gonna build a sailboat and start sailing on that lake.
Really?
That's the future.
Making the best of a new reality while studying ways to preserve what's left. As our time on the Kennecott Glacier drew to a close, another group of adventurers were heading toward the ice, drawn by the bucket list chance to visit this undisputed heavyweight champion of national parks.
You know, part of it is those statistics you were just citing. They even sort of hide the truth of it, because 13.2 million acres, well, that's the park boundary, but that boundary in most directions is arbitrary. It's more mountains, more wilderness, more glaciers. North America's mountain kingdom, that's the term I prefer.
So you're saying the park is actually bigger than it is, which is already the biggest?
The protected lands in this area are much bigger than just Wrangell-St. Elias National Park and Preserve. It's the core of a much bigger protected landscape.
How awesome is that?
Super awesome.
It is super awesome.
Super, super awesome.
There's a cool reality show on McCarthy, Alaska, if you want to check it out. Also, the food there in McCarthy is incredible.
Really?
Yeah, we did a dish on a place called The Potato.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
And it was just amazing. People, you know, and it's only open 3 or 4 months a year.
Yeah.
You have to make it there, but they do a fantastic job.
I'm just remembering that for Christmas I should have gotten you bear spray.
I was just going to ask, how do you not bring bear spray?
I know.
Well, I thought he had brought it.
That's the thing you don't just assume on.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I would have got you. I mean, you can't fly with it, so you need to get it when you're there.
That's true.